Shalom, bruchim habaim. Welcome to this video. In this video, we are gonna look at the different Hebrew verbs for to say, to look, to watch. Well, even in English, they are different, but they are around seeing. Now, which is which in Hebrew? Okay, here we go. So, to understand Hebrew verbs, we first have to go one step back and look at what we are actually doing in English. Then it is much easier to see in what category we want to navigate in Hebrew. So, what are we doing in English? In English, there is to see, of course, yeah. What is to see? To see is actually something passive. It is accidental. Like, I see a tall building. Yeah, okay. And that's it. When we go from passive and accidental to active and intentional, this is when we change the verb. This is when we go from to see to look at. Like, for example, I look at a tall building. So these are the main differences in the passive part. And when it is accidental, it is lirot. When it is intentional, it is lehistakel. And now let's look at the examples in Hebrew. So here we have those two sentences. I see a tall building and I look at a tall building, which is here at the first one. אני רואה, אני רואה בניין גבוה. I see a tall building. So now the active part, intentionally, I look at a tall building. And then I say, אני מסתכל or מסתכלת על בניין גבוה. Okay? And now we still have another verb. So we take this here out now. And then we move to look at here. What is happening when this intentionally looking at something is taking longer? Well, then we call it to watch or to view. And here's an example sentence. I am watching TV. Classical sentence. Okay, so here you have it. And you go from lehistakel, which is intentional, to litzpot. And please watch out. This is litzpot and not litzapot. This is pa'al. The same verb exists in PL and in pa'al, but I'm not going to confuse you right now. We are talking here about to watch, and this is litzpot. Example sentences. So here are the two. I look at a tall building and I am watching TV. Oh no, I understand this is not very related, but these are the two verbs. Okay, so the first one, אני מסתכלת על בניין גבוה. And now the other one is אני צופה or אני צופה בטלוויזיה. So it is לצפות ב. להסתכל על, לצפות ב. Okay, summary. So we have לראות, accidental, to see, and then we have להסתכל על, to look at, and לצפות. So this is prolonged. This is when you do it intentionally, but it takes longer, more or less. This is to watch. Now, all of these are irregular. And if you have taken my course, you see that right away. For those of you who have not taken my course and you might be new to Hebrew verbs, let me tell you, where do you see that this is an irregular verb? I show you here. Everything that ends on ot. And here you have this strange combination of first samech and then taf. Yes, these are what we call irregular verbs, even though they are inside a category, gizra, inside the binyan. So really, they are not irregular because they have their own category, but they're definitely not the standard. Okay. If you're new to Hebrew verbs, you might want to start with my books, which exist in 4 languages, and there I explain all of that. For those who want to go into depth, this is when you take my course and you have to switch between these kind of sentences like this. This is more like training that at the end you do it automatically. Okay. So here, Lir'od is pa'al lamed hey. It ends on hey, and this is why the verb ends on ot. This is where you spot these things. The same is true for litzpot. This is also pa'al lamed hey. That means the root ends on hey. And this is why you have, as I just said, ot. Okay? But then you also have here lehistakel, which is hitpa'el. Oh, yes, it is hitpa'el. Pei samech. That means it is hitpa'el, but the root starts with samech, and this is the reason why we have to make that switch. Well, these things, for example, between lir'ot, litzpot, in the same binyan, in the same subcategory called gizra, these kind of things I drill you on in the course. Okay? If you want to know more about it, I leave you all the information in the description of this video. And if on top of that, you want to get weekly tips on how to learn Hebrew or how to talk about some current events or something, I cover a lot of that in my weekly newsletter, where I line out, oh, look, there's a verb that belongs to this event that's currently happening, and this is why this and that. So if you want to have a light version of Hebrew, sign up for my newsletter. And yeah, I hope I see you either on my list or in my next video. Neshikot, shalom.